Hey everyone, it's Joe Glyons here out of Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, and Jackie here from Copenhagen, Denmark.
And Jackie's going to lead us through. I was asking him, and Jackie, I think, what was it, like 6 months ago, maybe a little less, I had asked you about shell hooks, and you walked me through them, but we wanted to have we didn't actually really start recording it right away, and so I thought, hey, let's do this for a podcast, right? Let's give it a try. And can you give me a good, like a high level summary of what a shell hook even is?
Yeah, to me, at least a kind of high level summary because I might not be the most knowledgeable of it, but Windows has like a shell, right? The outer part of the controlling part, or um, the the casing around everything that you see, right? The
Yeah.
shell, like on a turtle. So if we're actually working inside the shell. So when you actually hook the shell, you hook on to the messages that other programs send to the shell, or that Microsoft makes sure to send to the shell. And the reason the shell needs to know it is so that all that Windows does works. So when you open a program, the program gets a taskbar icon. It gets the process populated in, the task viewer and all that stuff. All of what needs to happen. Some windows might need to be pulled to the top, and others might need to be lower in the stack, and all that stuff needs to be updated. And for that to happen, a controlling part needs to know about the existing of this new window. So to me, that's my most quick and dirty way of saying what a shell is,
Yeah.
and actually hooking it.
And are these in some way related, like to the on message and post message, or are those part of the?
Yeah, it is. It is because Windows sends all these messages behind the scenes. Every time I move my mouse, the chance of this window receiving messages of that movement happening,
Which they can't see at the moment, by the way, but
which they can't see. If they see my mouse moving.
I haven't switched it
That's
to that view yet.
that's fair enough. But if I moved my mouse and if I had some kind of message listener running, it would populate an enormously long list of mouse messages being sent. And the same if I minimized or maximized the window or anything, other things like that, those messages would be sent throughout the system, and that's something the shell kind of handles. So when stuff like this happens, the shell might be notified about it.
Yeah, I was thinking of, and it's funny because I had told this to Raptor X, and like I watched his, I think it was on message and post message, videos like probably almost 10 years ago, and I watched him like 10 times at least, probably more. But what was this tool? Spy, Win Spy?
Yeah. I found at least some version of it, Spyxx or plus
Yeah,
plus.
yeah.
I don't
But
remember.
yeah, in the video, he shows how just like thousands upon thousands of things are being updated behind the scenes that we aren't aware of, right? Like it's insane. So you got to filter them and hide them. But
Yeah, I've just now.
oh, hold on. Let me go ahead and share since or switch screens. There we go. Okay, so now we have that view shown.
So now I just opened the Microsoft Spyxx. It's not the same one as in the videos, but it's similar at least. And if let's say I looked up Notepad here, and I turned up that window. Let me just get this one back, and I want to have that one as well. So if I wanted to receive messages from this one, let me go here and just drag this crosshair to it. Sorry. That was kind of weird to me. I searched for it, I dragged this thing to it, and I said, okay. And for some reason, it's saying cannot find window which matches search criteria, which is weird because it's right there.
Yeah, and it's Notepad. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to.
And the fact the handle updates, right?
It is actually finding it.
Yeah.
That's the true part of it. Okay, there it found it. I don't know why it didn't find the other one, or maybe because it was actually looking in this list and that wasn't updated because the list was populated before I actually opened Notepad. So maybe if I somehow
this refresh button,
this list and use this one, dragged it to Notepad, said okay, then it actually found it. Right. So that was why that was an issue. So Notepad here has quite a few parts of information about Notepad, but I could also go here and say messages. This will now give me a list of the messages that Notepad is kind of broadcasting or receiving. And if I populate this, the chance of it doing some stuff should have been higher than what it was. Let me see, Windows processes, fetch logs, start, stop looping. I'm not actually seeing it record any type of messages. Start, stop logging. What would be your best guess? Am I not logging them right now? It should be. Irritating when stuff doesn't really work the way you had hoped.
Right.
It's following this window. Additional windows, all windows in system, child windows, save settings, messages. Apparently, clear all, select all. Okay. So now it should, to me, be receiving these messages over here. Apparently it's not. How about if I go to like calculator, which is actually a newer Windows interface thingy. Let me figure out how I do get back from here.
Yeah, refresh before you do that.
Yeah, I can do like that. And then just synchronize. Yeah, usually works. I update it, synchronize. Yeah, normally that actually jumps to it. But let's use this instead and say okay. So this is the calculator application, and go to messages and still not populating any.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
To me it is. Apparently I'm doing something wrong, right? I might not be doing anything wrong, but usually just works. So
why don't you maybe restart your spy tool?
I could try and do that. Oh, that was there's the AutoHotkey one. Spy. Yeah. So normally that's pretty straightforward. I've not seen these types of issues before, but hey. So now I just use the edit, and if I go to messages, and it's simply not working. I truly don't know why. I'm just not seeing it. Normally, it's a tool like this would be able to show me most of these messages.
Okay, so Jackie, he was trying a bunch of different windows and finally found one that is getting messages for. We don't know why it's not picking them up on the other ones.
Yeah, it's weird, but hey, it's what it is. I'll go here. I'll search out. Apparently, you're not seeing this window. Is that correct?
No, correct.
It's a small video container for this Zoom call. So it's a small window here. I see it just fine. It has my video feed and it has Joe's video feed on it. And it found it, and I can OK it. And it is here, and I can synchronize. And it then jumps to it here in the list. And if I go and say messages, get this empty list. But if I move my mouse, right now I'm not moving it over the window. But as soon as I do, the messages start popping up. So as soon as my mouse moves into the Windows area, these messages keeps just rolling along. If I move the window, if I move the mouse, doesn't really matter. The Windows messages just keeps coming, right? It's moving the mouse, it's showing where a click would hit, where it would set the cursor and stuff like that. So those are normal messages that Windows keeps sending all the time.
And those, because I don't necessarily recognize it, but the WM underscore like set cursor and move mouse move, there's a page somewhere in the AutoHotkey documentation, correct, that has like the equivalent for is that the send and post messages?
Yeah, you can go and you can send like a mouse move, which is like in the 200 range. I don't remember all of them. So that's something that can be looked up both on AutoHotkey, but also online in general. Mm-hmm. Searching with the VM command or the VM name here, like VM mouse move would tell you. Like if I went here,
it'll have like a hexadecimal number or something.
Like VM underscore, you see it's already recommending them to me, mouse move. And here it tells me the documentation page. If I go there, it has the actual hexadecimal number here that I could use. And it's just 200 right
now. So. Lastly, because I don't want to say I'm annoying you, but I'm keeping you from doing what we were asked to do. The like control move and mouse move commands in AutoHotkey, that's basically like a wrapper for this. Is that correct? Because they've made it simple for us. We don't have to learn all this stuff. We can just say mouse move and coordinates. It'll translate it to something to using this or something similar to this. Is that right?
I'd say the mouse move, which is a normal mouse move command that will actually move your cursor, is probably another Microsoft built-in command that is a wrapper for this. But then you have the control click and control other send and stuff, which is more in the tone of wrappers for these messages, because you can replicate them pretty much by doing the send and post messages yourself. But yeah, the control messages are more pure wrappers for these messages, whereas the click and the send and those are wrappers of other Microsoft Windows functions that are probably wrappers for these, would be my guess. So yeah, that's how the messages could look. But the interesting part of this is that if I go and I move the window, you can see that stuff like VM window pose changed messages start popping up, or VM move, stuff like that. Different type of messages that are not about the mouse.
And just to clarify, because I know, Jackie, you're speaking another language, but it's WM, right? So people don't get confused because they'll be looking for a VM, but it's WM is the...
Oh, yeah, fair enough. I'm just shortening it too much.
No
But
worries.
yeah, WM. Yeah, that's correct. WM mouse move, or WM Windows position changed, or WM move, and so on and so forth. There's lots of different messages, and here there's actually a message that's not even a WM
Yeah, I
message.
saw that.
So it's a user-defined VM app plus 1001. Whatever that might be, it's probably a Zoom built-in functionality, right? We don't currently know what that is, but you could probably figure it out if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
This was kind of giving an idea of how this could look. And I then...
Well, I was going to say, and to follow up on it, the shell hook, like all of these things are happening and communicating to the shell. We're peeking into a little sliver, from one program of the messages that the shell is getting. And the point from the shell hook is that we could actually say, hey, watch this cue, so to speak, and when you see this happen, now do something, right? Or we can also send stuff to it. Is that right? Or that is just a post or a send message?
Yeah, that would be a post or send message. Okay. Yeah. So with this window is a bit more advanced and will catch more than the simple shell hook. But if I close this spy down here, I have kind of an example script here. But what I did was I went and grabbed Fanatic Guru's great class WinHook. And the WinHook class is actually capable of capturing a bit more than a simple shell hook would, but it is able to just do what I'd call simple shell hooks. Not that shell hooks are simple in any way, but a normal shell hook, we just look here, has these 15 events that you can hook into, or that you can capture or be notified about.
Right.
And if you look at them, it's stuff like window created. So when a window is created, the hook is, or the shell is notified about it by sending it a message 1. Right? You simply just tell the shell hook an event 1 has happened, and the shell would know that means that a window has been created. That's just to kind of give an idea of how this is done, or if a window is redrawn for whatever reason, or if I don't know, a sys menu is, if you right click on something and the system menu has to pop up, a 9 would be sent to the shell so that it knows. Stuff like that. And here Fanatic Guru has made it fairly simple to go in and do this, instead of you interpreting something like this code here, where he goes in and does the del call, where he starts registering shell hook window. He actually registers the script as a window that should receive shell messages. So that is, in essence, the hook. That is this line here.
Mm-hmm.
That is what makes the script itself able to
start listening or monitoring.
Yeah, exactly. And here you actually implement the shell hook where you use register Windows message, and then you use the built-in on message. So it's a 3-step thing you do to actually get the function on message to work. So using AutoHotkey's built-in on message, you will now receive messages about these 17 events. So if I use this Windhoek class to do it, I'd write something fairly simple like Windhoek, that's the name of the class. And I want to use the shell hooks in it. And I want to add a new hook. And, oh, apparently I deleted that. So dot add. And this add method here has a parameter list down here. So add shell hook, and there is these 5 parameters. That's whatever Fanatic GUI guru, Fanatic GUI, interesting way. Fanatic guru, he has defined these 5 parameters. So sure enough, they correlate to hooking a shell, but they are not a matter of fact part of hooking the shell. The first part here is the function that I wish to use when any one of these events happen. So currently I've chosen the name.
Can you zoom in just a little, Jackie? Just because I know for some people it...
Yeah, I'm not sure I can.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure how actually on this editor. If I can zoom.
Under view, is there a option under view to just...
Probably not. Editor layout.
Okay, well, let's not worry about it.
Parents, zoom, create, show, move, zoom in.
Control plus.
Plus.
Or control plus, but yeah.
Control plus. Control plus plus.
Yeah.
Control minus. I'll go with this size. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Thank you.
Okay, so we were down here. So I've chosen the name created. I've already actually made the function here.
So, oh, man. Okay.
So I've chosen the name created as the function I wish to be notified, or I wish to call every time the shell gets the message that I'm after. And let me just see if I can't simply copy these 5 parameters up here. So this is the function one. So this is the second one. That's the V title. And the third one would be the V class. You can see the window class, which for but yeah, whatever. If I wanted to only act on a specific window title, or on a specific window class, or on a specific window exit. And currently I've chosen to use the Notepad.exit as my filter, might be a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So that's my current filter. So I will only act and call the created function when something with Notepad exit happens. And currently, as the event, I've typed in 1. And we knew from down here that the event 1 was window created. So every time a Notepad.exit window is created, my created function will be called. So let's say I put something as simple as a message box in here and said created, just to do something, right? I could also say Notepad window created. just to make it more specific. And I'll save that. I'll go here. I'll run it. So now that this small piece of code here is running.
Do shell hooks do you need a I forget what it's called, persistent command, or is it going to stay running?
This because I'm using this class, it actually has that built in, so the on message will make it persistent, right? The on message we saw down here in the class here will automatically make it persistent. But yeah, if you had done stuff differently, you would need to make sure the script was persistent. But when doing something with shellhook, using the code that you can find on the forum for shellhooks, all of those would have some kind of on message in it, so it would automatically become persistent. So to kind of see if any of what I wrote here actually works, I should try and actually create a Notepad window. And there you have it. So as soon as the Notepad window...
Yeah, that wasn't fast enough, Jackie.
Yeah, that's the thing. So as soon as the shell was notified that a Notepad window had been created, which Windows handles, my small function down here was actually called, and my message box popped up. So okay to that, and that of course works every time I open a Notepad window. This function down here will be called. So I can open any number of Notepad windows, and I can hook on to other messages, right? If I wanted to go with the window destroyed, or
activated,
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
The window activated, like this one here.
Yeah.
That the 4. If I changed it to a 4, like so, I ran the script again. Yeah, go. Now I will actually need to create a Notepad window, and I changed the function, so now it's not really acting on the creation. But if I deselect it and activate it, I should be getting messages, but my script might not have restarted. Let me just see if that was it. Rerun that. It's apparently it is running. It's supposed to call the created one. Yeah. It's not really getting to that point of it acting on the activated.
How about changing it to 2 and let's close it and see if it responds when you...
Fair enough. It might be save, go, run it, yes, like so, and go here and destroy it. Nah, didn't get that either. So it is running through the parts when it actually gets the messages. So whatever it might be, that's not making it act on those specific ones. And if I changed it back to a 1, just to see if we can still get that part to work, I'll rerun that. And I'll create the Notepad window again. Yeah, so that part is working. And of course, the name created and that stuff doesn't really have anything to do with it.
Just because I'm curious, I see on line 50 where you just mentioned that's the name of the function. Is there any way to pass any parameters to it, or is it's only the name of the function?
The function, the created function, actually do get some specific parameters. It's described here. The function or method that I name will get these preset parameters every time.
Wow.
So if let's say I copied those up here, so as they are,
right, and
I
then you
could
can use
say
them. Yeah.
the Notepad window with the ID and then just window ID there was just created, right? Whatever it might be. And save that. Here, run it. Yes, please. When I then, let me just destroy this one and create a new one. Then the Notepad window with the ID, blah, 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 was just created. So I can use these parameters. I could use the title, the class, the exit, or even the window event, which in this case would be created, right? I can most likely within the event parameter do other things. I don't remember all of the documentation on this one. But you can add other event hooks here. It's more advanced than just the shell hook part. I'm not exactly sure why the other events that we tried didn't work, but apparently I could add in. I'm not sure what I can add in here. So the event is a single number, but perhaps you could do if event hook events event. We'll look at these different parts to see if those are hooked or if those are within the filter. But I'm not really seeing if I can add more than a simple event in this spot here.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because if I put in a 3, that's just activated shell window. But window activated and window destroyed are both hooks that I've used before. So to me, it's most likely either an issue with Notepad on my system or whatever it is, because I had the same issues earlier with the Windows Spy tool that I had.
I was going to say, yeah.
Or maybe it's because we're on a Zoom call and something is interpreting or blocking some. Who knows what it might be?
Well, the fact that you were able to see the Zoom window makes me kind of lean in that direction, right? That like maybe Zoom is somehow doing something that it's interfering with it. But
it could be something like that.
Jackie, I hate to scare you, but you made this so easy. I think I could actually do it. Yeah, honestly, it was wow. I mean that is really straightforward.
That's why I love this class.
Yeah,
it really makes it fairly easy to get that first setup or two. And if let's say I wanted one for this, and maybe I also wanted one for what was the second one was actually destroyed, right? Now we didn't make it work the first time, but let's say that I tried that and I made a second function here that instead said destroyed, and I used exactly the same parameters, that, and I use the message box in the same way, and I said the window, the Notepad window with the ID whatever was just destroyed. Just to see if we're lucky this time around, and there. Sorry, it's just like so. And I would create a Notepad window, and I'm notified that it was just created. Okay, and I destroy it. And currently, we're in that fine situation of it apparently not detecting the destruction of Windows, whatever reason there is behind that.
Hey, Jackie, not that we don't have to cover this. I just want to make sure I understand it. If you had left that message box up and then closed Notepad, if it was working properly, we would not have got the destroyed one still, though, correctly? Because it's AutoHotkey single threaded and would have been stuck on that one. Is that right?
I'm not 100% sure.
So,
because
sorry.
It might be able to actually throw another message box.
Okay.
Because there are a few exceptions to that
right.
message box actually blocking stuff.
Right.
But it probably would be blocking.
Yeah.
That would be my first.
But we could use a set timer probably to make it somewhat easy, right, to get around that.
Yeah.
This was really cool, man.
Yeah. I'm glad we at least covered a small part of it, and sadly, for some reason.
Yeah, but you explained all the concepts and how it works. The fact there were a couple glitches is how things go, right?
Yeah.
Because again, it just gets back to we talk about how robust AutoHotkey is and how you can connecting to the Windows API gives you so many things. Yet we don't really usually dive too deep in it because we keep a lot of the stuff that we actually talk about at a higher level. This is one of those things. It's really awesome. As I've stayed away from shell hooks because I never understood them. I understood kind of the concept but I had never actually. Well, I walked through RaptorX's tutorial a couple times, but the problem was it was pretty advanced, and when I did it, it was beyond me.
Yeah, but if you were using one of the straight up ones where you actually see this code and you need to interpret what it says and the correct place of actually putting in what you have, and that's what he's doing here with the object bind method and doing some of the more advanced stuff. He's then using this generic function, the message, right, to actually act on all of these, and then the winget title and the winget class and stuff like that is actually his way of allowing us to filter with those parameters that we saw on top. Right. So he's just making this general function that we can tap in with a more simple line here, right?
Right.
So yeah, it makes it.
And the one thing I would add is, and I know they exist, the matter would be which one to use, I don't know, but there are simpler spy tools that, not the AutoHotkey WinSpy tool, but that collect messages. And that one you were looking at, it's pretty advanced, right? I know that years ago we talked about it, and it was like, it's so overwhelming, all the messages you get and filtering it, it's just a bit complex.
There is a few simpler ones, but sure enough, if it becomes too simple, you will probably, because it can be a bit advanced to try and figure out which message you're looking for or whatever you're trying to hook or what's wrong and stuff like that. Just like with me not being able to detect the destroy event here for whatever reason. Why is that happening? If the spy tool that I'm using is able to capture that destroy happening,
Mhm.
then I can be pretty sure that
Gotcha.
part of the code I'm using that's wrong. And that's why I'm using a pretty advanced tool, just to
Gotcha.
be sure that it would capture more than what I'm able to do myself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you're right. You can get some that are simplified a bit, so that you can get less cluttered.
Yeah. Again, for
Workspace.
noobs, it's just a lot to take in, but it was very basic what you were doing. It's just getting there is a bit complex. The other thing I'd say, let's quickly touch on, is a lot of tools out there. This gets back to when you are monitoring for, like, especially an image to show up. Oh, I want to know if Notepad's running. I'm going to look for the icon, here, and how fast your script was detecting that Notepad was created, right? Like, it's probably, correct me if I'm wrong, it might even happen before the GUI's even visual. Like, like the second it says it's getting created, like it's then, like, instantaneous.
Yeah, I'd say you can get issues with it not actually having been. If you act too quickly on
Oh,
something like this,
yeah.
the window might not have been fully rendered yet, or filling the space that you wanted it to fill exactly. If I went in here and immediately
Added text to the.
wanted to know
Oh.
get a window pose or something like that, just as an example,
Mm-hmm.
um, it, it it might not succeed or give me exactly what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted. So yeah, it's worth noting, because it is, as soon as the shell is notified, the script would be notified. So doing stuff as quickly, you could probably you would be able to um, subdue a
Mm-hmm.
window. You
Well,
would be able to stop a window from appearing on screen. If I had here win kill, let's say I had that, and I, as the win title, used AHK ID, and then used the
the one you
win,
caught. Yeah.
sorry, the win one here, like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, I'd probably be able to kill the Notepad window before we were able to see it. I'm not sure if I will be able to, but let me destroy this one and try and create a new Notepad window. And I'll just click enter now. Okay, apparently I save and reload the script. That's needed for it to work. Doesn't really work the other way around. So
And at some point, we'll add the single instance force to the script as well.
maybe one day, who knows? So now the new version is running, and
Yeah.
I'll try to create this Notepad window and enter. And okay,
Yeah.
it blinked up. You actually did have time to see it,
Well,
but
maybe it was a little faster on mine. I'm sorry, it seemed faster because of latency, but yeah, it flashed.
yeah, it is a flash. It is just the window is there and it's not, right. It is really quick. It is, and you could probably hide the window before you destroyed it or killed it or whatever,
Mm.
or closed it, and having stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
work even better. But yeah, you there there's a lot of ways to do stuff like this,
Very
but
cool, man.
it is a powerful way of using on message. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. This was to me, really fascinating. I learned a lot in a lot of different ways. So this was a cool podcast,
Right.
man.
Yeah, so it's the Windhook class by Fanatic Duo.
Okay, I'll go grab it and use the URL in the description so people can easily find it.
Yeah, that's great, Joe.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. This
Yeah.
has been really interesting.
Absolutely.
All right, see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.